What is up, YouTube? Bobbles and Ball Cards back with another video. I want to first start by saying thank you to everybody out there that has been watching the recent videos, that have been commenting, been enjoying the conversations, questions, different takes on the subject. I know I don't do as much content as I used to, but not gonna lie, I kind of miss it. Y'all already know if you watched, lives with other people or listen to the podcast I do over on the Because I'm Carlos channel with Carlos and Eric. You already know I like to talk, and I like to talk about sports cards. So I don't always have the most favorable takes of folks, but I like to share my thoughts, whether they are right or wrong, and enjoy talking about the hobby. So it's not going to be any different this evening. I have a topic I want to discuss, and I actually have a special guest with me. I don't know, I can't remember except for one time that she has actually been in a video in the history of this channel. And I think this is going on, I think this month will be at least 4 years that I've had this channel going. But it's none other than the famous, infamous, however you want to consider her, Mrs. Bobbles. Y'all all love her in the group subs. And so I brought her up here to join in a conversation with me. So say hi to everybody.
Hi guys. Why did I wave?
She literally waved at the camera just so you guys know. And yeah. So anyway, I me and Eric and Carlos had a little bit of discussion about um the most recent bounty that has been placed by David Adams. And it really got me thinking and kind of not only, and I'm going to sound old, and y'all like to say I'm old anyway, but not only about today's current space in sports cards and the sports card industry, but it got me thinking about how much things have changed. And it had me trying to reflect on what if I was 12 years old today? What if I was still that wee little, punk 12-year-old who hadn't even gotten his first job yet, but really enjoyed sports cards and playing baseball and, maybe some Nintendo or something. Where would it put me if I was in that position today? And then from that thought, it had me thinking about the future. What 12-year-old Timmys today have to look forward to, or what 12-year-olds in the future have to look forward to. And I was talking to the missus about it, and I broke out a Beckett magazine. It is issue number 84, if you want to go find one and reference it. But it was from March 1992, so 32 years ago this month. And an interesting thing I noticed in this magazine, I completely understand times have changed, and we have eBay now, and there's inserts and serial numbers and autographs and relics and all these other wonderful things that have been invoked into the hobby. But one thing I noticed is that there was only 26 cards in that entire magazine that exceeded $1,000. And most of those cards had the last name of some guy named Mantle. The newest card in that magazine that had exceeded $1,000 was in 1968, and it happened to be two gentlemen that weren't too shabby, of Jerry Koosman and Nolan Ryan, their rookie card in 68 tops. And then it got me thinking about today. And if a kid had Beckett magazine today, what they would be thinking, or like how small the print would be. And I brought the missus on board because what is one of your favorite things to do in this hobby?
Rip packs.
But what product do you like to rip?
Oh, upper deck hockey.
Upper deck hockey. It's no secret, we've talked about it, we've ripped hockey for a few years now. We're
At
still,
least a case.
yeah, we've ripped at least a case, and we started in 2019-20. The pandemic, the boom, that had some implications to it, but we actually have found that we enjoy hockey. We enjoy watching hockey, and we both have enjoyed collecting hockey cards. But she's not like she hasn't been in the hobby for as long necessarily as I have, but she's been around what 2016, I think,
Mhm.
is when you started kind of getting into it a little bit with me. I remember,
Yeah, I didn't I knew about it in high school. I went to my cousin collected cards, but I didn't collect them. I really didn't start until with you when we went to Blowout.
yeah, and I remember still that the first time after we got together that you bought me cards, and it was. Do you remember what it was? Because I still remember what it was. Do you remember what it was?
Um, was it draft?
No. No, no, no. Nope, we bought that together. We bought that together.
I don't remember. It's been a long time, and I had both the kids with me when I bought it.
So the first time that I had her buy me cards after we got together, um, obviously we live in Virginia and we're not too far from Blowout, and they have a small card shop. They're not just online platform, but they have a small shop called the Fantastic Store. And she took the kids to the dentist, and it was up in that area. And so I asked her to stop and get me a couple boxes of cards, and it was 2015 Bowman football.
Oh yeah.
And then she is right. We did rip some 2016 Bowman draft. I actually pulled Boba first Bowman auto. We actually did pretty well on that product. We had a few nice things. But anyway, that's kind of the introduction to the hobby with her, and we have been together pretty full force and doing so since then. I've shared the story many times of 2017 starting to build like the Nationals, the roster and all of their first Bowmans and things. And obviously I collect Michael Taylor and Victor Robles, and she's watched Victor Robles when we went to the Potomac Nationals games and stuff. But you know, I did a video recently regarding reflecting back on my collecting and getting back to the things just of having fun again. And part of that stems from the way that the hobby has became today because let's face it, we don't open wax like we used to.
Nowhere close. We used to get at least a case of top series 1 and 2. For a while we got update, and then we would get the upper deck series 1 and 2. At least a case because we could. And now if we did that, that's like a mortgage payment
Well, and
per box.
I think the thing too that we realized is it's not necessarily that we couldn't go and buy it. It's that, and I kind of felt this way, we were lying to ourselves that it was the cost was fun. Like it wasn't fun getting kicked in the nads over and over and over again. Like something had to give. But let's go back to 12-year-old little Timmy and let's look at some of these things. So I have a few tabs pulled up here to go over, and this
Okay,
first
can I
one.
say something real quick though? Because I don't feel like we got kicked in the nads over and over and over again. At the cost we got in, we almost always could make our money back. I don't at that time. I feel like we would now.
Well, that's my point. Like the last few times that we've opened wax, it was horrendous.
Oh, it was so sad. Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
that's my
talking
point. I'm
about
not
then
talking
though.
about then. I'm talking about why we have slowed down
Yeah.
because the last few times it was, the cost kept going up and up and up. I mean, I remember uh look at for example, the day, and I'll never forget it. And we wound up doing good, but it was just by luck. But I remember 2019 Topps Chrome, we had bought a box and it was $89.
Yeah.
And we went down to the card seller, went in, and we bought a box of 2020 Topps Chrome.
Mhm.
And it was $270 for the box. And we opened it, and it sucked.
So bad.
And I still remember going to the car, and you were sad because we only opened one box
So sad. I
because it was
guilted you.
$270, and
Yeah,
I
I
gave
guilted you.
in and I went back and bought another box, and it paid off. But had it not, that was 3 times the year before, and it was trash.
Yeah, I
So,
definitely guilted you.
yeah, and, I think the thing is, that right there is a good point, though, because why was 2020 Topps Chrome $270 a box? Well, it was the pandemic, and it was the Louis Robert hype, or Louis Robert, if you
I
wanna
was gonna say
choose.
that's what I called
Lou
him.
Bob, however you wanna phrase him as. It was the hype of him, and you had Bo Bichette and, a couple other rookies, but the products feel like they're getting more and more and more price dictated by the player and the hype rather than what the product actually is. And that's kind of what I wanted to discuss today because, here in 2018, what I have up here on the screen, it's an article about blowout, and they put a bounty out on the Shohei Ohtani Superfractor. And to my knowledge, this was, if not the first, it was one of the first times that a bounty had been placed like this. And the one thing I want you to pay attention to is this was for Ohtani. There was a lot of hype behind Ohtani, and this bounty was only $75,000. Now, I say only $75,000, but in 2018, $75,000 for a card, ultra modern card, was freaking nuts. Like it was. I mean, we were we were able to break National Treasures football in 2017 at a very cost efficient price.
Yeah, that was fun. Remember
And
when we could open National Treasure?
$75,000 bounty at that time was pretty nuts. And it was for the hyped Otani Superfractor.
I had never wished to pull another card in my life. I wanted that card so bad just for that money.
But then let's fast forward to 2019, and you already know who we're going to talk about. We're going to talk
Oh,
about Zion Williamson and the National Treasures Logo Man RPA. And look, once again, Blowout throws a bounty, but this time it is $500,000. And keep in mind, this is around the boom, the pandemic, all of that, but we just went from saying $75,000 for an ultra modern card was crazy to a $500,000 on a bounty for a card. Now, mind you, this didn't work out too well, I don't believe. But we had seen what the Luca did, and there was the Zion potential and this, that, and the other. But my point is, it went from 75,000 on a bounty one year to 500,000 just the very next year. Um, I don't even know.
those logo men weren't even from the jerseys, were they?
They weren't from Game Used. It says digital mock-up, not actual card right here, so it looks a little bit worse,
No,
but
no, I know that, but I was just meant there was when was it that they started putting the logos that weren't even on the jerseys?
I'm not exactly sure what you're referencing to.
I don't know. I'll look it up. I'll come back for another show.
But anyway, we went from 75,000 to 500,000, and what has got me on this thought train is, and the reason I brought her in is because, again, she does love opening hockey. And there is now a bounty set by David Adams of $1 million. And you would think, okay, well, this has to be, you know, for his cup RPA, right? His shield RPA, his best card that he will have, right? And unfortunately, that answer is no. This $1 million bounty is for a young gun, and it is for the 101 young gun. And yes, This is something that Upper Deck historically hasn't done. I believe they did it 1 year, and then they've had some like throwback or retro 101s that they inserted in a couple years ago. But this is the Outburst Gold 101 Young Guns. And keep in mind, this is the flagship product. This is the product that should be, 100 to $150 a box at the top end, even in today's market. You have the 6 Young Guns per box, um, 12 boxes per case. So, let's say $120, 12 boxes per case. It's still kind of pricey, but it's not outrageous. Instead, we're looking at a price tag of like 300 plus per box in cases that are approaching $4,000. Now, why do you think Dave and Adams put this bounty on there? What is your opinion of Dave and Adams putting this bounty on?
So Blowout doesn't do it first.
Well, why would Blowout want to do it?
To raise the cost of boxes?
Correct. To raise the cost of boxes, to get people to buy the product at the inflated price, to cause chaos. I look at this as we are literally adults reliving the golden ticket from Willy Wonka. We are
No.
taking away the fun and excitement of a collectible hobby that we claim, that we cherish, and that we did as kids, and that we want to pass on. But yet, we are making it so 12-year-old little Timmy can't afford the product. 12-year-old Timmy can't enjoy what we enjoyed as 12-year-old youths. And we are literally playing Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory by causing a craze, but instead of chocolate bars, we got people going out buying boxes of baseball cards or hockey cards or whatever. It's literally somebody sat down, and they keep remaking these Wonka movies, but somebody sitting down and copying the same format.
Except they didn't raise the price of the chocolate bar. They just sold more chocolate bars.
Well, that would be a benefit to this. But I mean, I don't.
Except it's not. They're raising the price and they're selling more.
Right. That's what I'm saying though. They seen the potential from the Wonka movie that people go stupid.
Why is it though? Poor Willie. He didn't have any idea this was happening to him.
People go stupid when there is a chase. And this card was going to be a chase no matter what. But I don't think that they think 3,600 or whatever or cases are sitting at today. I don't think it's enough. I think they want to raise the price.
Well, didn't you say that there's a bunch of places that canceled pre-orders? Because I yelled at you for not pre-ordering because I wanted to at least be able to have a case.
There wasn't a report, and
It was Clouts and Chara or whatever. I saw that they canceled.
That's the one. Yes, that's the article. I had seen it shared a week or maybe 2 weeks ago that there was reports that they had canceled pre-orders. And it doesn't surprise me. It's one reason I don't pre-order a lot of this stuff, because if you know it's going to get crazy like this, I can just see it happening. And I just, reflecting back, and I'm being all serious here when I'm saying, like, what does the future hold?
Nothing.
What does the future generations going beyond? I look back at this magazine from 32 years ago, and I look at it and I say, okay, yeah, the cards weren't worth a ton of money that I was collecting. They're not worth a ton of money today that I was collecting. But it gave me something to enjoy that I literally had a passion for, that I've carried on into adulthood. And the kids today are not having that same luxury. They're not going to carry this forward. And there's people that will argue, "Oh, cards will always be a thing. Oh, the values will just keep going up and up and up and up and
And
up
I
to the
disagree
moon."
because if kids can't open cards, if they can't have that joy, hell, there's adults that can't open cards anymore. But in 30 years, the person who has this $1 million Connor Bedard card isn't going to be selling it for 2 million because nobody's going to give a flying leap. I almost forgot we were recording. Nobody's going to care because the kids aren't going to be able to get the cards.
Well, I'm not even concerned in 30 years about that card.
I'm just saying in general, though.
You were at the show when the young kid, I think he
Cried?
was 9 years old, 10
Yes.
years old, and he wanted a Kyler Yamamoto
He was so excited.
Young Gun, and I gave it to him. How much is a Connor Bedard Young Gun gonna cost? Just the regular one. If they're pushing the 101 at $1,000,000, what's the regular one gonna cost? If the boxes are over $300 and you're not getting one per box,
No, they're not going to. The kids aren't going to be able to collect them. Set makers aren't going to be able to make their sets.
kids Connor Bedard's age aren't going to be able to afford Connor Bedard cards.
I could afford a Connor Bedard card, I'm sure. We're adults. We handle our money fairly decently, but I wouldn't pay for it. I don't understand. I'm not even talking about Connor now. I said this to you before. To me, rookie cards, young gun cards, prospect cards, the fun of being able to open packs and get those cards was to be able to pull somebody that you thought was going to be amazing and have them turn out to be the next Mike Trout, Wayne Gretzky, whoever, Tom Brady. Nobody, you don't have that option now. Kids aren't going to be able to go to a card show and get a Connor Bedard out of a $5 or $10 box.
Oh, they might, but it's gonna be the
Young gun.
whatever. No, they won't get a Young Gun.
That's what
They
I'm
won't get a
talking
Young
about.
Gun. The Young Gun, I'm just gonna speculate if the Easter egg is at 500 from series 1, I'm speculating the Young Gun is going to be somewhere in the range of 750 to $1,000, and that's for the base, raw, 750 to $1,000, and, I get it.
I don't.
People say, "Well, if they wanna collect, there's other options out there," but you are taking the joy away from the simplest of products. It doesn't, it doesn't get much more basic than the flagship product. That's the product that people are supposed to be able to sit down and build the sets of. That's the whole premise behind Upper Deck. Series 1, Series 2. You got 50 Young Guns in each, Series 1, Series 2. And people sit down and build those sets. But how is a kid supposed to get a binder and obtain these sets when, it could cost them $3,000 trying to open packs to obtain the Connor Bedard Young Gun to complete a set? I mean, we didn't have those issues back in 1992 when we were 12-year-olds.
No.
I just don't understand how anyone thinks that this is smart for the future of this hobby to continue on. And just a heads up, folks, if the hobby doesn't continue on, none of these cards have any value
Yeah.
because nobody will want or give two shits about them in the future. There
Yeah.
has to be a future.
Well, and the thing is, there are already boxes and cards that are made for those people that if they want to spend $1 million on a card,
Oh, you
they
go buy the cup.
can.
Yeah, go buy the $1,200 a box cup.
Go buy the cup. What's the Tops when they do the party and everything?
You mean
Transcendent?
Oh yeah, Topps Transcendent, the
Like there's
$30,000 box or whatever it
yeah,
is.
there is stuff for those collectors. But to go through and to take all of these flagship products and make them so the people that should be able to buy them cannot is insane to me.
Donruss,
I wanted to be
Prism.
able yeah,
Yeah,
I wanted to be able to open cards with our grandkids someday, and it's not looking like that. Because 'cause I'm
I
not
guess there's always Pokemon, and that's another reason that I've said I see the future of collectors really in the TCG market, in the Pokemon market. Yeah, Charizard is Charizard,
yeah, but they
Pikachu is
don't
Pikachu, and the product does go up in price over year, year over year, but
yeah, but not drastic.
that's not oh well, I want to get a trainer box and it's went from $50 to $1,000 or $89 to $400. Um, you can get booster boxes. There's many options out there. They make products even pack, like 3-pack little bundles that kids can afford at a cheaper price. You know,
Just how is a Connor Bedard card worth more than Gretzky
how is it worth more than
or
Ovechkin or
Ovechkin or
Sidney Crosby
Crosby
or
or
Gordie
like
Howe or
what's that guy that Eric likes?
Booby Orr, you know? Yeah, I
Like I
mean,
don't it just doesn't make sense to me that rookies are ever worth more than players who have proven themselves. Because I'm not talking about Connor, I'm talking in general. Anything can happen. How many players beat their wives or murder their friend or get stuck in drugs, blow out their knees, whatever? Like, you don't know what these people are going to do.
get
And
arrested for dating 16-year-olds.
yeah, oh, God, that still hurts. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. There's also people who are amazing, but they freeze when they're on
I mean,
the
Bedard
big
is I'm not
show.
saying the kid doesn't have talent. I'm
No,
saying
it's not about that.
$1 million is stupid. And I don't care how much money you have. This is showing this is a hobby.
This is more money than sense
And
money, though.
this is showing the lack of sense in the hobby. I don't care if you are a multi-billionaire. It doesn't mean that this card is worth $1 million. You don't even know what it would go for on the market because you're not even allowing it to. You're just saying, well, it's $1 million. And that is just literally it feels like a scam. It literally feels like a scam to force pricing by creating this chaotic nonsense of people going out buying and ripping these products for the golden ticket. I don't know. It's very sad, but I just my personal opinion is there is no future to this hobby. The current
Not unless something changes. Like, people have to wake up and not pay these crazy prices for these flagship products. There are products for them to have crazy prices on. Keep it there.
Yeah, I mean, if you want the luxury product, look at LeBron. What card of LeBron's is the $1 million ticket? It is his exquisite RPA. And that product was not cheap when it was, in 2003. It wasn't overly excessive in price, but it was your top tier product. Every sport has a top tier product. And if
Yeah,
you
so
want
keep
the
it
million
there.
dollar card, then go buy, the cup RPA
Right. So in
or
this case,
whatever.
so what are they saying? If his young gun, because it has a 101 on it, which is just insane, because there's going to be 5 billion that look exactly the same. But okay, whatever. if his young gun is 1,000,000, then what's his cup gonna be? A $5 million bounty?
No, the cup shield will, if that's 1,000,000, the cup shield will probably reach 10, if I had to guess.
Listen to me, I was trying to be realistic.
It's just like that's how much more superior that product is.
It's just insane. Like there's products to make this, but to ruin flagship of any is crazy to me.
And it's in hockey, the sport nobody would expect. Again, just a reminder, there's been 2 hockey cards in history that I am aware of that have sold for $1,000,000 plus, and here we are, people saying that there's a Connor Bedard card worth $1,000,000, and he hasn't even been in that many sets yet. Like, what, 3, maybe 4, if that? So, not even in that many sets, and we already have a $1,000,000 Connor Bedard card. This is the
He's
future.
been in 4 sets?
There was an O-Pee-Chee set. He was in the Upper Deck Series 1 as the, Easter egg.
Oh,
I think there might have been one other set
is he in
that
the Tim Horton set?
I'm talking actual release sets. There was another one that,
Oh,
Allure or something like that. I
that
can't
had him in
remember.
it?
That had, like, a redemption or something, but, we're already at 1,000,000. We're at 1,000,000. This is the future of the
Oh,
hobby,
look, we didn't
people.
even say.
Um, we have $1,000,000 cards, straight out of the packs from
I
flagship
completely
products.
forgot about Lemieux. Like we didn't even talk about him or Broder or anybody. Okay.
But anyway, I just thought it'd be a fun topic.
Do you think he's better than Robertson out of curiosity?
Hell no. That I've got a $1,000,000,000 collection now because of this, guys. I mean, y'all thought that the SGC jokes and me like owning SGC and them selling made me rich. Hell no. This bounty, that's why I wanted to bring light to it. I have a $1,000,000,000 collection of Jason Robertson now.
Robertson's trash.
Yeah, so she says. Yet she was the one making the post last year that her team was going home to watch the Western Conference Finals. So anyway, that's all I got for you guys. I thought it
My
would be a
team's
fun
new.
topic. And I hate to be such Debbie Downer on it, but it just feels like there is no future hope in this hobby.
I
I
just
feel
think that
bad
people
for
don't think about
12-year-olds.
it.
I feel bad for youth that actually want to enjoy this because they're going to be so detached from so many elements to this hobby today. Um, it's just crazy. I don't know how they'll continue it on. I don't know how they'll build and grow a passion for it. There is way too much focus on the dollar amounts. These companies, I've already said my distaste for Fanatics. I don't need to go into that any further. But then you have these other companies like, Blowout and DA and Steel City and some of these others out there.
To
You
be
have the
fair,
distributors, you have the manufacturers themselves doing crazy crap. And
has Steel City done a bounty on
I
something?
I don't I don't want to exclude them, but I don't know if they've done a bounty, but they're
Okay.
in the same type of market as
Yeah.
the blowouts and the DAs.
I just keep it
Um,
with the top tier things. Let people have their
but
flagship.
it's just
I liked building the sets.
it's just sad, really. And I don't know, I don't know that really. The other sad part is I don't think people care. As much as people say that they love and enjoy this hobby, I don't think they care because I don't know that they understand that just looking at today is being selfish. And it's also a waste of your money because if none of this stuff is wanted tomorrow, then its future value is worthless. And, if you start thinking about that, you're spending all this money on stuff today for what? Just so you can brag to your buddies that you obtained this, or this? Because what benefit does it have to you if it has no value in the future? Like, if you have nobody that wants it in the future, if you have nobody to pass it down to in the future, if you have nobody that can afford it in the future, think about that. It has no value. So hopefully things fix themselves. I'm trying to look at it outside of like my own perspective And like, of course, we both sat here and said, it affects us because we don't see the value in opening the product at the current prices. And that's me at 43 years old, capable of going out and spending that money if I want to. God forbid a 12-year-old. If they're getting that kind of allowance, I want to go start mowing grass again because, damn, they are balling. But anyway, we'll wrap it up there. Thank you for coming on. I know that she's never been on here. Some people probably are wondering who in the hell it is talking, but you guys have always supported her, and I figured let me bring her up here and let her chat for a bit. So, but that's all I got for you guys. As always, stay safe, stay healthy, and until the next video, we are out.
Oh, I got in it.